So this is my response to Trey Melvin's story time with my ex. Mine is about my most recent ex, who shall remain nameless for privacy reasons. But before I get started, I just want to thank Trey Melvin for the opportunity, along with Slug Books and everything that everybody does. Without them two, this wouldn't even be possible. But there are two main people. It's my ex, and it was my best friend at the time. My ex, I'm going to be calling Cornbread, and my best friend, I'm going to be calling Starburst. Don't ask where I got the names, just go along with it. But I'm reading it like music sheets. But it all started in high school. Me, Cornbread, and Starburst were all friends, along with some more people at the time who were friends. We sat at the lunch table and stuff, all the, high school. I met her officially my sophomore year, and but I was a sophomore, she was a junior. Um, Moving forward, throughout that year, throughout that year of high school, we were close enough to call each other like best friends, I guess you could say. High school best friends, because there's a difference. But she graduated, I stayed apparently, because there was a year between us. I graduated, started college right after. After a few weeks of doing my classes, I ran into Cornbread. We talked. I was like, "Hey, how you been? How's school for you? What you been up to? That stuff." And I asked her if her number was still the same, and she said, "Yeah." So I told her that I would text her as soon as I got home. Um, after that, after I texted her, we were talking, and we just ended up talking like every day, all the time. After a few weeks, or no, fast forward through months of talking and becoming closer to each other, I finally asked her to be in a relationship with me. Why? But I asked her while I was drunk and she was helping me in the house. So, in a drunken voice, I asked her. I didn't ask her, I told her that I wanted her to be my girlfriend. And she, like, she said she would think about it. And then she left, and then I crashed. And then about 2 days later, I asked her about it again because I knew that I had asked. I wasn't that drunk, and she did too. And then she said yes, so she agreed to it, to be in a relationship with me. Fast forward a couple months, through all the new mushy relationship stuff. Um, I went to her church for a Christmas program, and later on that week, or a few weeks later, for a Sunday morning service. Quick side note, that's a big deal, or that was a big deal for me, because at one point I always considered myself agnostic, or at least the definition of agnostic, what I thought it was, which was you don't believe in religion, but you believe in God. At the time, I just thought religion was full of crap. So she kind of pulled me back into the whole church thing, and for that I was hella grateful. Like, opened my eyes spiritually and all of that stuff. But fast forward through some more months of relationship stuff, the fun, the irritating, all that jazz that happens when you're in a relationship. Oh, this is gonna be I gotta adjust. Okay. It's been a little under a year of good things, advice, parental problems, arguments, parental problems, attitudes, and more parental problems. Relationship stuff. But I was the one having the parental problems. I was always bumping heads with my mom. But Cornbread was always there to talk me through it and calm me down and just get me through whatever the situation was at the time. But it's like she knew exactly what to say to keep me from going insane. My best friend Starburst was always there too, throughout all the time. I talked to both of them a lot, but of course, I talked to Cornbread more than I talked to Starburst. Starburst was like a sister, but Cornbread is something that I wanted to make into a wife. I lost where I was. Ah, Starburst was always there to help me through whatever the situation was too, when and if I ever talked to her. But we're moving forward more to August of 2014. I was chilling with Starburst one night, was just chilling and watching old cartoons. Um, I forgot what that side note was. Oh, that's the side note. Before I started dating Cornbread, throughout high school, I had a crush on Starburst. So I liked Starburst I before I had started dating Cornbread. So when I started dating Cornbread, like all those emotions were just like suppressed for all that time. Never even thought about it. I'm not saying that I was playing Cornbread or anything like that. It's just they were there. They just didn't. They just never messed with me until this one night. This one night, I was chilling with Starburst and watching old cartoons and all of that stuff. And then this particular night, all those emotions that I kept suppressed for Starburst just exploded, all at like 3 o'clock in the morning. We weren't drunk. It was like no drugs or alcohol or anything. This was just all my emotions. So I threw myself at Starburst in a sexual manner. All I did was my head was telling me I wanted to have sex with her, but I didn't. And but I didn't. I ended up not having sex with her. The most I did, I just kissed her. But I'll tell you about that in a minute when I get to it. But but I just kissed her, and then after I realized what I was doing, I left. And I left. I apologized to Starburst, and I told Cornbread that same night, like minutes after it happened, while I was driving home from Starburst's house. And it broke her like immediately. She got really quiet after I told her what happened and everything. It's like it was just no response. But then the next day she had came over and we talked about it, and she was upset. She was very upset, and just things that I things that words really can't describe. But we talked about it, and then after we finished talking about it, she claimed. I say she claimed now because of what I know now, but if I were speaking back then I would say she forgave me. But now I'm saying she claimed she forgave me. But I didn't know that she was trying to forgive me, but she knew that, and I really didn't. I do now, but that she was already like foot out the door. So I started to notice that she was like slowly fading away, like she just. I would send messages, like those long mushy messages about how much you love the person and how grateful you are that they're in your life and all of that stuff. And the responses weren't the same. Like she was there, but she wasn't there. But I tried, or I asked her about it, and she after so many times of asking, she finally said that she just couldn't trust me anymore. I tried my hardest to show her how bad I knew I messed up, and how much I wanted to work through it, and just how much I still wanted her by my side. But it was already too late. Last adjustment. Okay. A few. She after all the time like fading away and all of that. And what she said, she was trying to put me back on the pedestal that I was. She eventually broke up with me because she just couldn't see me as the person that I used to be to her. The breakup the breakup put me in one of the worst depressions that I've ever encountered in this life. I cut myself off from the family, from my family, from the world, my friends. Um, Honestly, at one point I had even started cutting. I started just cutting my forearm. Not because I wanted to die, but I mean, part of me wanted to, but realistically, I didn't want to die because if you kill yourself, you go straight to hell. But that's beside the point. Um, with every cut that I made, it just seemed like some of the pain just as the skin just tore open. It's just like the pain, some of the pain just went out with it, and it made the relationship with my mother even worse. My mom thought that I had a problem with her, but it's just I didn't have the problem with her. It was just a problem with myself and what I had put myself through, or at the time what I was putting myself through. At one point, I was taking a psychology class. I even asked my psychology teacher for like help on a patient therapist level, not teacher student, like outside of the class. And he talked to me and all of that, and it's just I tried real hard, but it just didn't seem like anything was gonna get better because she wasn't there, and I just wanted the relationship so bad that I started doing things that would try and bring her back to me, but I wasn't thinking about how it was going to affect me, her, and possibly other people. Like, I tried to force someone into a relationship that they didn't want to be in. Honestly, if I would have just waited and then let her gather her thoughts and possibly come back to me, then probably would have got back in a relationship. But because I've tried to force her into it, I ended up pushing her even further away, and I was just hurting myself. I wanted it so bad because she was my first love, my first like official love, somebody that I really wanted to spend the rest of my life with, but I couldn't. Right now, I probably still can, but after the depression and that's there are marks for the cutting. In case you think I'm just trying to be emotional and shit like that, this shit happened. Um, After the cutting and the depression and all of that stuff, I was talking to my cousin mainly about my mother because my mom was like freaking out and like, you have an attitude with me and you have a problem with me, when it's like I don't. I just kind of want to keep to myself right now. And she was just making things so hard, and my cousin was like I would get yelled at about the smallest things, but my cousin was like, you want to come move down here to Atlanta? And I was like, yeah. So in the midst of the depression and the cutting and the cutting myself off from like everything that was outside of my room, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia for 3 months. I caught the bus in like January, and then I came, and all of that, all the pain was still there. I even talked to Cornbread like not monthly, but like every other month and a half, you could say. Like, just trying to establish some sort of bond between us, but not completely turn into a stranger. I didn't know that she wanted the complete opposite. Like, she pretty much just wanted me to disappear. And in the midst of like all of that stuff, the moving, the depression, it was still there, it's still here now. But I just know how to handle it better. she like I always It got to the point where I would always repeat myself. I would repeat the same sorry speech to her, just like, I'm so sorry and take me back. But it just didn't work. Like, her emotions were gone, or or at least in my eyes, they were gone. But I moved back home in March, and then I had talked to her within those 2 days, um, to via social media. She was like, "You're back home." I was like, "Yeah," and stuff like that. And I was still trying to be like that friend, but she didn't mind that, but I wanted more than she did. Like she wanted me to be like on an acquaintance level, like somebody that you run into in public, or somebody that you see like not that much. I wanted to be that friend that you don't talk to every day, but you talk to maybe like 5 to 7 times in a week. I was trying to be that and possibly grow from it. That's what I was thinking in my head. But nothing worked. Eventually, fast forward a few months after that, we're we're back into the back in, not, I guess you could say, but right before the summer of this year, right before even during the summer of this year, and we had one conversation, and then it was just it was no it was just a like pie in the face that right now this shit is not gonna happen. There's out of all the people that I've talked to about it, and sometimes even myself, they're like, "Y'all gonna get back together. You just gotta be patient." Like, okay, but oh well, right now. But out of everything that happened, um, what I learned a lot from my ex. Um, my ex and my mom, or no, Cornbread and her mother taught me that, because I was bumping heads with my mom all the time. Cornbread and her mother taught me that I can't have a relationship with any female unless I have a decent relationship with my mother, and I believe that because it seems like when you like going back when I whenever I would bump heads with my mom, I would always go to Cornbread as a therapist. Like, what do I do? Like, can you believe this? Instead of a girlfriend and stuff like that. And then it got out of hand. But then as things started to get better, I could worry more about relationships with people instead of always coming to them like my mom did this or my mom did that. Also, I learned to love myself first, because I say that because when I was going through the depression and everything I was doing because I wanted someone else, not thinking about how it was gonna affect me in a positive and or negative way. I also learned to just trust in God, to put whatever the situation is in His hands and let Him take care of it. Whereas most people like to say, to let go and let God. And most importantly, I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, but not to cheat anymore. Well, but not for the basic reasons. Not, well, yeah, don't cheat because it's wrong and you can really hurt somebody, but that being at like the bottom of the list for me, I learned not to cheat because I saw and encountered all the pain and hurt that I brought to myself and other people. I brought pain to Cornbread, to Starburst, to my mother, my friends, my family, like all of that just from like 10 minutes of one night. Like, and some people be like, well, you just kissed her, maybe she was overreacting. Cheating is fucking cheating. Get over it. But that's story time with my ex. And I just once again want to thank Trey Melvin for this opportunity, and to Cornbread, if you happen to see this, I will always love you.